There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of Free Spacer, the sandbox science fiction role-playing game. I am your host and game master, Eric, aka EricVulgaris. I go with he or they pronouns, and I'm responsible for bringing the space. Adam, take it away. Who are you? You're muted.
You're on mute, bud.
I am muted. That's who I am. I am Adam, he, him. On Twitter, I'm HackerBlinks. I'm playing Chuck, who's the pilot. And pretty soon he's not going to be piloting too much because we're going to be doing something else for a little while. It's going to be great. Alice, how about you?
Hi, I'm Alice, also known as Tafcat on Twitter and Twitch. I'm playing Hush or Hushanalia. I am the I always forget the race's name, but I'm a snake lady and I'm the ship's mechanic. I use she/her pronouns.
I'm Jean on Twitter at Adazer. I am playing Tukavi Rakana, which is Kana Array. I am a Nautilus person, and I have too many fingers, so that is good. And I'm a sensor analyst and a linguist, which is great for meeting new friends. And there's Ben.
Hey, everybody. Ben Dutter on everything social. He, him pronouns. I play Captain Plark, who also is he, him. And as his title would say, he's the captain of the ship, but it's more like a Captain Picard type situation, captain by consensus. That's Plark style.
Awesome. Cool. Yep. All right. And with that, we're getting ready to start every game. When we start Free Spacer, this is something I didn't do last time. We need to do pre-game stuff. So at the start of each session, we go over a little bit of what happened, and we get a couple little benefits here. A little bit of narrative and mechanical refreshment, so to speak. So the first thing is renown. We would gain renown if we encountered a new species or faction. Specifically, then we would gain a contact from them. And basically it would go up to 1 and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, we have not encountered that. But the next 3 are definitely things that have come to pass. So the next up is the achievement section. When we do the achievements, this is when our party gets to refresh our reactor dies. This is both our ship and our individual suit reactors. They each go up by 1. But there's a chance it goes up by more. This is what happens and how it goes up by more. Turmoil. The crew altered the status quo last session by changing the world around them to make it better or worse. Reshaping places, people, and factions. I feel like you guys did that while it happened sort of off-screen. As I'm about ready to describe here, you thwarted the quantumly entangled conversation protocols. So yes, go ahead and you'll get an extra charge there. The next one up is, this is something that actually I want to hear from everybody, whether or not it is. In no particular order, is drive. A crew member took a risk to pursue their drive last session by performing an unrequired task. Taking a risk for the drive should be significant. If you didn't pursue your drive, then you may change it to something that might be more fitting for this session, if you feel like it's a bad fit.
Yo, idealism is my drive, by the way. Too many risks. Just too many.
Yeah, you definitely hit it.
Is agenda. And I think I pushed my secret agenda by taking risks when it comes to establishing new life.
Cool.
Because we didn't need to do anything we did last game.
Adam?
No, I don't think so. My drive is science, which isn't matching how I'm liking to play this character. So I think I might swap it.
Sure. Do you have an idea of what you want to swap it to?
I have no idea.
Sure.
How about you, Ben? Did you do your drive?
I did. I'm pulling it up right now. I think mine was idealism, but let me check. Can't seem to find where it is. Yeah, I think it was idealism. Something around life is valuable above all else.
In your character sheet, it should be like if you scroll up to like alias and just look down until you hit like you just look down from there. It should be the bottom one. You had it listed as science, apparently.
Oh, there it is. Science. Yes, yes. Oh, I remember now. I was thinking it from the perspective of trying to learn about the things that he missed out on since he was trapped in an archivist's position, and now he's out on the frontier. So yes, that makes more sense.
Right.
So yes, I would keep it that.
Cool. I was going to suggest if you wanted to keep it, this might be a good session to keep it because it would be a little bit of a change of pace. In addition, okay. In fact, it might make sense for me to explain where we're going to be at, in order for your drive, right? Okay. So we're going to flash ahead a little bit from last session. The party manages to disable the quantum messages and continues on to their designated contract point to find the source of the signal of the electromagnetic anomaly. After all, they are free spacers, and an important integral point of all free spacers is that the contract is law, and that residual value doesn't grow on trees. Right? So the camera will open up today on the backdrop of the beautiful nebula, nice, stunning light reds and violets. And sort of in the foreground of this shot is something completely juxtapositioning itself to juxtaposing itself with just a heavy, almost dilapidated nature. A foul simulacra of a planetoid, several hundreds of kilometers in diameter, ovaloid in shape, not opal. And it clearly, based on its technology and markings as you've gotten close to it, mark it as a Carcerones of the Eternal Astrolabe facility. Now, this place looks on the outside of matte greens and navies, right? Sort of like giving the impression that it's supposed to kind of look like a planet, a nice little habitable temperate world. But its solidness is now looks worn from years and years and years of neglect. It's older than the exploration wars. It has no military markings and no scars either, implying any sort of battle service, whatever the ship is. In fact, all your hails and attempts at communication with this place are met with silence. In fact, not even any records at all, not just of military service, but anything in the local internet cache reveal any sort of significance of this place. Not even sort of the unsealed parts, the special parts that have been revealed and sort of caused to be put in since the Cardinal Compact, right? Of sort of like, secret military site kind of things. Nothing seems to be noted here. So the camera continues into this ovaloid through one of the exent valves somewhere on its paint-crusted exterior, and it goes through dozens of meters thick of metal and plates and machinery before it breaks open into a beautiful tropical environment. Blue oceans are broken up by an archipelago of islands, all lit under a warm, glowing sun. A magnetically contained fusion artificial sun hangs overhead, casting this place in perpetual noon. So in this Carcerone facility, in this microsphere, on a strange artificial island, lays the source of the reason why your contract source. Somewhere on this volcanic island. Is this source, and you're all trying to look for it and figure out exactly where it goes. As far as you can tell, that it seems to be emanating closer from the largest volcanically active mountain on this sort of subcontinent that you're on. And the camera's going to begin with you all sort of the the Chimera has landed in sort of the best space it can near the coast. Before this verdant jungle is kind of in the way. It's probably the clearest place you could have found. As you guys are all stepping off the ship, that's sort of where we would begin today. So that is what we're doing. So does that help with anyone's goals? No?
Yes.
My
Yes, it does.
wall of text help at all?
It will. Take samples of everything.
Cool.
I think, and that's what my person said as they like this big fist is like, I'm gonna take samples of everything.
Cool. All right. Well, if we're done with drives, we're not ready to begin just yet because we still got a couple things to do, right? So that was just to help with inform us of drives, right? The next part is resolves. If we resolved our social bonds with any contacts, but that's probably not necessarily the case here. That's usually for when we complete our missions and such. So we don't have to worry about that yet. Next up is victory if we completed one of our contracts, which we haven't yet. Breach if we break one of our contracts, which I don't think we have done yet. It's tenuous. And then lastly, venturing by securing shares between your contracts as part of your retirement to ultimately phase out being a free spacer. Those are all worth charges. But looks like the answer is no. Then last things is training and tuning. Training is when you want to represent sort of your natural skills and how they sort of fluctuate and change based on what you need. For the first part here, or what this mechanically looks like, is underneath each person's skills, you can go ahead and shift specialties around. So you can't remove them between skills. You must be limited to your 3 specialties for each skill. So you can't be like moving around your train die or expertise dice anywhere, right? It's just your specialty dice are the ones that can be moved one for one. And the last thing is tuning, and tuning is similar to training, only it's for your ship. Or excuse me, for your crew, not your ship, your crew. I have words. What? Your own suit, your individual suit. Sorry.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah. Right. Obviously, your EVA suit can't be changed, or you can't upgrade your associations, but anything else in tuning is sort of fair game. So, for example, if you wanted to shift stuff into damage, right? If you think that you're going into a hostile place and you want more damage than say hacking or piloting, like some kind of like piloting extra stuff, feel free to go ahead and do that now.
I think I will change from a training perspective, I'll change some of my tractor skill to away weaponry or specialty. Does that work?
Yeah.
Same here. I think Plark and Chuck have been practicing sparring, and tractor doesn't help too much in sparring. I think probably both of us tried to use it. Does Plark have any martial arts training?
No.
Okay.
He's fairly athletic, but no martial arts.
So Chuck has some martial arts training, so I'm pretty sure that he tried to do kind of tractor augmented martial arts and figured out it wasn't going to work for him. So move over to away weaponry.
Makes sense.
I'm going to move things out of away weaponry, and put them into 1 point into endurance, because imagine we might be running a bunch.
Oh, you can't move them between skills, I thought.
Okay, no, that makes more sense. I was about to ask that. Yes, cool. Never mind then.
But I mean, load up our artillery or tractor because we just dropped a couple.
That makes way more sense than what I was thinking. In which case, yeah, rather than that, I'm just going to move a point out of strength and put it in endurance, and move a point out of melee and put it in parkour.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to switch some of my administration around too, because I don't see myself doing a lot of paperwork while we're on this planet.
There could be ancient paperwork, pre-war.
Oh, I'm gonna laugh so hard if it shows up.
Delegate
Like-
that to you.
Clark, we need somebody to file. We just
There's-
need somebody to file.
There's no limit on the amount of points you can move around, right?
As long as it's
Oh.
within the same skill, yeah.
Cool. I will also move 2 points at a code and put 2 points in a hack because we might have to hack a thing. I will also put 1 point out of mechanics and 1 point out of material science into archaic technology because maybe we run into a car. Maybe I get a car.
Well, sure.
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 I moved a point from oratory into group dynamics. And then I moved from alertness into analysis under the perception skill. And I think that's all I did.
Sure.
Just trying to focus on like what may come up on planet.
No, that sounds good. Cool. All right. Are we all good to go? Everyone have the little green check boxes like in your EVA suits going like chick chick chick, like everyone's ready for exploration. Cool. All right then. Let's get ready to rock and roll. I'm not going to start you guys off gently though, so forgive me. I was saving the best part for last. So the Chimera has landed, and the party has now disembarked and has begun to sort of scour and get ready to move. You probably have your little like mule ship, ready to go for cruising around. However, as you're getting that ready, the jungle does not sleep and does not wait. Its hostility reveals itself in the form of a virulent strain of kudzu ivy that has begun to encroach and ensnare the wheels, or at least the landing parts of your ship, as well as if you're not careful and as you continue to take a step back, it wants to consume you too. Players, crew of the Chimera, what do you do?
Clark would probably just do a quick warning, like visually in the HUD system that they have. Back away from the grass, the vine.
Can I have scanned the planet and knowing that where we're landing had this issue, be like, oh, well, there's this other plant that it hates, and have like a little spray, like a like stop it. And roll for biomechanics, biosciences.
I think probably not this specific.
Entirely a surprise.
This is definitely a surprise. However, what I would say is, if you wanted to say that you had some sort of bio disinfectant, or just like weed killer, I forget what the actual term. Like I don't think that's unreasonable, but it's basically like a wide applicator version rather than necessarily a specifically targeted one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
a
basically,
neutralizing biogel.
right? You would
space
have
term.
you would have space Roundup, right? Like that doesn't seem unreasonable for exploration vessels to carry. Like this would probably be something that you would, right?
Yeah. And I just wanna.
Yeah, like we don't need to see a project of you doing that or anything like
no,
that.
I
Like,
didn't
I'm
wanna
willing to say
do
that you
that,
have
so I was just-
right. So you want to attack this with bio.
Yeah.
Basically. Sure. So tell me what skill you want to use specifically, and what does it look like?
Let me just open skills. Well, I figured it would be biosciences, and I just want to go through the skills to make sure I'm doing it right.
Sure.
I'm not just picking something because I have a lot of things in it, engineering. Okay. Yeah, biomechanics fits. Analyze chemical compounds or modify a life form. Augmentation, modification, biotechnology. If you agree.
Right. Maybe it might not kill it, but at least it will
make it dormant. Like I don't want to
right
destroy things.
You will at least at the bare minimum it would like repulse it, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, I don't want to go there, right? And it would start to wrap around it like a sea of vine, right? Like it would go around from where you spray.
Yeah, so it wouldn't get like in the gears, but it would still like cover.
Yeah, or it's still encapsulate you, but maybe not like, right? So at the minimum, like you could think of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not at the minimum, but we'll see.
Yeah. So roll dice. Dice roll.
Yeah, but I didn't give you some threat here.
Sure.
This is pretty fast acting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you a 5 here.
All right. Okay. And
Just so I'm
Yes.
picturing it correctly, Eric, is
Yeah.
it fast enough where we can see it? Like it's physically moving so fast? that
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like Jumanji, like coming
The
forth
sped
from the
up-
jungle.
blossoming plant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And
Yeah.
since it's been a week, what are things that I can use? So,
So you can spend charge from your reactor
okay.
to, if you think you have a proper thing from your suit that might help you.
Um,
And if you do, you can add those specialty dice of that application to whatever it is within reason, right? Like,
Sure. Yeah. I have a sampler. Maybe I could like get a little bit and see what exactly chemical analysis, because not all plants are the same.
I feel like those are two different actions you would take with a sampler. But I like where your head's at.
Okay. All right.
You know what I
In
mean?
that case, I think we're just gonna roll.
This is for the application of the Roundup, or I mean, we're
Yes.
calling it Roundup, but yeah, antibacterial or
Neutralizing
biomatter.
gel.
Yeah, neutralizing gel.
Neutralize, because everything in space is
Yeah.
a gel.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that goes without saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. We should be clear.
Even if it's a fine mist when it lands gel. Yeah, I think I'm just rolling straight with this one,
Sure.
just to start things off fresh and clean. All right. And you said 5 threat?
Yeah.
Well,
Cool. So that's a partial.
yeah.
All right. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I think the correct answer right now is that it works temporarily. I think what's happening is that you're able to put down the gel, and it is working for now. But you know that it's a matter of time before, as soon as that wears off, it's going to break
Gel
through.
dries out. We all
Yeah.
know this. Yes.
Right. So you're going to need a more permanent solution, but you have bought yourself a little bit of time. So that's what I think a partial success looks like right now. Now
Any
the question
success
is,
at all is great.
yeah. So the question now is if this is now becoming a project or not. Immediately to solve.
Maybe we could see what the other people do first.
Yeah, I think maybe we need to see like one more action or so and see if you guys have a if you're able to quickly resolve this, then maybe not, but we'll see.
How pervasive is this particular plant? Is it like literally everywhere where we landed, or is it just isolated?
No, it wasn't where you landed. It seemed to have just sort of sprouted from the ground fast, like quickly, and has begun to overwhelm you. So it's sort of like some of it is like kind of crawling in from sort of the what do you call it? Just like the edge of sort of the jungle. Like you imagine yourselves you're in sort of a small little clearing near some cliffs that go down into the water. Right. So like one of the few places you could find that you'd probably land without hitting a tree. But it's basically just right underneath you. It just seems like these things are growing. Furthermore, you see like some of them are like coming in like waves from sort of the periphery, the boundary of the jungle line kind of coming in as well.
Should I give us some distance here? Like, you can go find some place that plants don't grow on.
Sensibly, if you jump into the ocean or in that cliff, you're probably fine. But you probably don't want to do that.
Well, we're with our little mule ship, you said, right? Our little pod.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has a little like it's basically a shuttle, right?
Yep. We do in fact have a shuttle.
Take us out of here, Chuck.
I'm gonna pull on up.
So I
And,
would, I would want everyone to get on board and to
Yeah.
just leave from this landing zone until we
You
can
just leave us there.
just leave. Yeah, just Plark and Chuck.
we'll come
Yeah,
back
everybody
for you
looks at her and be
later.
like, what?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get some height and do a bit more survey.
Sure. Now that you've bought ourselves a little bit of time, if you want to get height, does that mean you're all getting into the ship?
Well, we're at least in the shuttle.
Yeah.
The ship is still
Right.
working. The shuttle's still working. The shuttle can still fly.
So,
Right? None of those things are problematic.
well, I mean, how much gel did you just expend, right, to get this thing around? I imagine it's probably not enough to cover the periphery of the ship, but like half of the ship maybe. How about right?
Yeah, it's underbelly
Yeah.
where there's more
So,
like access points
yeah.
with landing gear.
Right. So I think at right now, yeah, I don't think you guys are in a fictional position just yet to be able to take off. I think you guys need another solid repulsion of the vines before you guys.
I
can,
mean,
like,
I
because
have.
there's a lot of vine.
I have a suggestion.
Mhm.
Could we not simply like burn the engines super hot for a moment and just burn some of these things away before taking off?
That
Behind
would
us. Yeah.
that could definitely work, but that would be bad if you're on the outside of the ship.
Don't be on the outside of the ship then.
So
Yeah.
just so I understand, Eric,
Mhm.
these vines are so thick and fast that they're able to stop a ship that can control gravity enough to get in and out of atmosphere of a planet. I just want to be clear that that's what's happening.
No, but it probably won't stop it, but it could risk damaging to the ship as you take off, right?
It could rip off landing gear
Yeah,
and things
right.
like that. Like it's enough that like it's more the fact that we have zero momentum, like you're going from zero to nothing, and like if we try to burn and take off, then that could cause damage. Where I'm suggesting just like a targeted burn, right? Like point engines like as downward as they go and just blast for a few seconds.
So are there engines? I think we joked about this earlier, but is it in canon that there's just like engines sort of like everywhere on the ship?
So there's
Or does it be like VTOL? Like it can,
It's
Yeah.
it's a pulse drive.
yeah.
And so the question is, since it's a pulse drive and since our lasers are pulse systems as well, I mean,
It's also, I imagine we have
Yeah,
like
but-
maneuvering thrusters and stuff, right?
I don't.
Can we
Like-
fire?
I
upon
don't
these
imagine
planets?
lasers are very cold, which is like what I thought you meant. It would be like basically a quick blast to the ground, like kind of under you.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not gonna like a jet engine pointed down, creating a heat sphere. It's like a more like a
Yeah.
quick burst of
Exactly.
of heated laser. That could work, right? But you all have to get on the ship, and like as you guys are getting on the ship, the vines are, overwhelming the gel. In fact, some parts of the ship are like you can kind of see like on the direct opposite side of where you sprayed the gel, like some of the vines are like creeping like to the, I guess like some of the portholes.
Yeah, like they've gone
Right.
up and everything.
Yeah. Right.
but
But they're thin vines. They're not like arm thick vines or anything like that, right? It's just there's a lot of them.
don't suppose
Alternative-
anybody have a flamethrower.
I mean, alternatively, I have biomechanics, and I can get into the ship and access like some of like our chemical storage or something. If we have
Yeah.
that sort of thing, I
Mhm.
could potentially make like essentially a pesticide.
Yeah.
Well, I worry
Right.
about time because it seems like this thing is moving very fast.
That's why I suggested the ship thing.
Yeah, you'd have to buy time, right?
I mean, can we just
Basically,
use
yeah.
it?
In
I
my
did mention
mind,
that earlier.
yeah. In my mind, Ray's fast use of the biogel, their repulsion gel, gave everyone enough space to really be able to move and not be in danger. The
Really?
ship is still kind of like, quote unquote, in danger, which is why there's an if you wanted to try again or something like that, then there's enough. But with a partial
s-
success, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just so
I
you
s-
guys know, it's like the threat isn't resolved.
I seriously think the engine burn is our best call.
Sure.
And like also just choosing a solution and moving towards it rather than this
Yeah.
continued cycle.
Sure.
Yeah.
And do we not have guns though? I'm just like, why use a thing that wasn't designed for this when we have a thing that was designed for it?
It's
Scale.
effectively shooting.
The ship doesn't have guns. The ship does have a pulse drive. Our guns are smaller than the ship guns. I think that's
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I just
so
wanted to make sure I was understanding what was happening.
I believe that's the deal.
Yeah, and I don't think our ship, even if it had really accurate guns, would be able to shoot itself. If I'm understanding that correctly, they would have to shoot something far away.
Right.
And so it's like we're in like grapple range So we have to.
So really, yeah.
Way out of it.
Right. So I think this is still would be a shooting skill, but it's using your engines, and I think the real challenge here is doing it in a way that also doesn't damage the ship, or like its own stability, like near the cliff and stuff. Right.
Could it not be like
Well,
a
like
pulse drive
this is.
test?
It is, but like where you've landed is not necessarily. I mean, like this is. It's a rocky cliff, so is it stable? It's a volcanically active island near the edge. There's like a lot of things where like, yeah, if you were in the middle of, say a salt flat, sure, where like there's not necessarily a questionable surface, like the surface underneath you, right? I feel like I just rambled and made no sense. Did I? Is that what I just did right there? Did I just pull an
I got
Eric?
the gist of it.
Okay.
Did. All right. So engine burn.
Like you're not
Did
in
it-
quicksand, but the soil, or at least the stability of where you're at may not be so safe if you do it. So there's some risk involved in pulsing the engines to do this.
Sure. I mean, the only person I trust
Yeah.
to do it is Chuck. So
I mean, I'm in. The biggest issue we have is we do not have any mods on the launch, and my memory is such that I cannot remember if that was an oversight during ship creation or if that is correct. And if we don't have any mods on the launch, that means I'm getting 4 dice because I'm not as good with the pulse drive as I am with graph drive.
sure.
know.
Still seems probably
Vines are here. What do we do?
worth it. Hmm.
I mean, I'm going to punch it. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, Clark would
Just
say
trying to
that.
figure out if I get any more dice.
I don't think there was only the one issue with the ship sheet, and I thought we had fixed it after the first
Yeah,
session. So
same.
I think the dice are what they are at this point.
Cool. Well, what have I got, Eric?
Although we could have moved things from the tractor lifter to the pulse drive when we did the dice moving part.
No, because
Not
we're
the
on
ship.
this is the ship, and the ship's launch has absolutely zero mods.
Yeah, if you want to
So we
upgrade your
couldn't do
ship,
any-
yeah, you actually have to spend materials.
Oh, I didn't mean upgrade. I meant isn't like how we moved around specialty dice. Can you not just do that to the ship?
No, you can't do that to the ship. The ship has
Okay.
modules, yeah, that are way bigger than your individual suit. I get what you're saying though, because you can do that to your suit, and so it makes you think you could do it, but
I
no, it's
figured
bigger.
you could like tune the ship to do certain things better if you have dice there, but no.
Right.
it makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, those are larger endeavors involving projects or purchasing and kitting things back in shipyards and stuff. Good question though. 5 dice was the threat.
This is going to be a good time.
Good times. Survey says. No. Cool. So this was a pulse away, right?
Hit it. Yep.
This wasn't you trying to just escape, right? This was you shooting the pulse array. It doesn't say
This
in
is-
the macro, so I just want to make sure. And it's been a
This
little bit
was-
because we were talking about stuff.
This was me rolling to punch the pulse drive hard and fast for both kind of a bounce off the ground and also as much energy as possible kind of pushed onto these things. Kind of 2 birds with 1 stone type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you did not manage to repel the vines.
Our launch has 5 upgrades, and we did not assign them. Ha!
Well,
So we did not do the vines. We did not have upgrades at the time. I'm going to pick some upgrades. If people have ideas, go ahead.
okay.
Let's see.
Mhm.
I'm just looking at the launch stuff.
Well, I think it was going to.
Uh,
I think it was going to be a little bit of multiple successive problems going on. I
Yeah,
think.
totally.
I think for starters, I think your ship will take 1 point of damage. I don't think the threat of vines necessarily constitutes more than that, which is fine for your ship. Your ship will be okay with that. I think the more dangerous problem now is that you have definitely weakened the cliff face as you hear the poof and you hear like the crunch of the rocks as they shift and crawl, and you see their ship jostle as we look at the port window as like half a sheet like falls down into the ocean 100 meters, or excuse me, 30 meters below you.
Clark would be looking at the
ship begins to list, right, as the rest of the slide is kind of beginning to happen. The vines are still kind of creeping over the ship. You're not in a good spot. You could technically fire the pulse array again, but another problem of this could really exacerbate the remaining stability of where you're at. The way now it's tilted and kind of beginning to fall, it could even it could just as well damage the ship as much as the vines.
Is it easy for us to go outside of the ship with our suit? Like, could I go and stand out on the vines on the exterior hull?
I don't think anybody let the vines get near them. I think as soon as you saw them creeping up things, there was a big old nope of gel. Could you go outside the ship? No, not right now. I mean, you could obviously go and try to open the locks, but I imagine the door is sealed to stop any sort of vines from coming in. There's definitely vines crawling all over it.
Okay.
Yeah, and your ship is listing. You probably don't want to be outside the ship right now because that might be the next spot that falls into the ocean. Right? It'd be very dangerous. It would be a risky thing to get yourself out there. I shouldn't speak in nos. That's really bad form. But you can, but it'd be very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing.
Can we tell from any of our visual sensors or scanners or anything where the densest concentration of the vines are?
Sure.
Or where the source of the damage is primarily?
Yeah. The source of the vines is coming from pretty much directly where you landed, right underneath it. So now it's a little bit to the side because your ship is shifting and moving now closer to the cliff.
As if it was a reactionary defense mechanism?
Do you say that? Do you say that as
Yeah, I think Ray says that out loud. I wonder if it's a reactionary defense mechanism.
Thought. So if there are no current plans and we're okay sitting here for a second, I could still try and do the pesticide thing and use the essentially the same way we used the water, we expelled it in mist form. Try to do that with a pesticide, cycle out water and see if we could mist just. Yeah.
I think there's an issue with our water. Remember, we blew off our water to ablate the heat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's I'm not using the water. I don't care. The water would have to be cycled out anyways. The fact that there is no water is helpful. I would be using the same system that would transfer water and allowed us to do that to do this. But the water itself being gone is good.
You want to fill the water system with this pesticide,
herbicide.
Yeah. I was
yeah.
So you're using the fact that we have that empty system,
correct,
to disperse.
Correct.
That's very creative.
Oh yeah, that definitely seems like a cool engineering task.
Okay.
Sure. This would probably to bring in a couple of effects here though. While this won't be a project, I think this would probably cost you a bit of supply to do from your ship, right? Basically, you're quickly making a fast-acting reagent to augment your you don't carry around tons and tons and tons of herbicide, but you probably have a couple things that can, in a pinch, can become an herbicide, and so you just have to throw that together. And basically,
I mean the big issue.
Does that make sense?
That stuff's on the ship, and we are on the launch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I'm hoping that we can disperse it in such a way that it's a cloud and will cover more area than just that. Right?
Well,
it'll fall.
Well, that system is on the thing that we're not. We're on the jump ship.
Yeah.
And the big ship.
Oh, I completely sure.
All right. As soon as you said that, I was like, Oh yeah.
I mean, still, like it would. I guess. Yeah. How big is the jump ship?
It is. Where is it? The launch is like 5 tons ish.
I guess I was just asking in comparison. Are there quarters or
It's
is this
way
like
smaller.
okay?
Yeah. It's got life support, 2 seats in the main launch, and so we probably have our trailer. We have a cargo trailer with 2 more seats.
Yeah. Like a Federation dropship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tiny.
Like a car, right? Basically.
But I did find myself
a
2 more
car.
dice. So if we do want to punch it, we can try again. But if you have maybe we could do something with do a big spray of that gel at the moment that we're lifting.
So just again, maybe I'm being slow here, but is the launch also entangled, or is it just our proper ship, the Jin Chimera?
Our proper ship did not land.
Our proper ship isn't on the ground.
Got it. Okay, that's where I was getting crossed up here. So that ship, is it in orbit still, or is it like close? The Jin Chimera?
Well, since orbit is outside of the fake planet ovaloid shield, I imagine it would be outside the fake planet shield, and then we're inside this artificial environment that has islands on it.
So we're in like a tiny bubble, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just trying to see how we can use both ships somehow.
That would be very difficult. Yeah.
I don't think we have remote control of our ship, sadly.
I mean, Quinn's back there.
Oh. Yeah,
I feel like we could kind of.
In that case,
you do have access.
Yeah, I don't know why we wouldn't, right?
Well, because we're talking about like a 10, 20, 30-second thing.
Yeah.
And the ship's like 15 minutes away.
I mean, the vines aren't like they're gonna like wrap around the ship, but like Eric said, they're not strong enough to tear it to pieces or anything. Just like wrap around it.
Yeah.
Meaning,
We're feeling confident that it's not going to squeeze us.
So imagine,
into small pieces. Is that the deal?
it's more that like if we just let them keep going, we won't be able to take off on our own. I'm kind of okay with that if we have a better solution with the ship, and that solution just be bring it over here and have it deal with them, or have it deal with the vines with like pesticide, or a burn from that ship rather would be much more effective than a burn from ours.
Right. So ostensibly you just will sit here, let the ship get covered in vines until the cavalry comes, aka your actual ship.
Yeah. I mean, I do mention maybe don't burn the plants while they're surrounding our ship.
Yeah, you have shields.
Yeah,
You
but
say
if you have shields, it's fine. It's a
It's
control.
fine.
why you have. It's like
I built this thing. That's fine.
these babies. You smack the hull. This thing can take.
Look, this thing can handle being near, like, somewhat close to a sun. Like, I'll need.
I mean, you guys routinely drop near suns, so like it's probably okay.
I might have to do a shield check and see, but like really.
Sure, but it'll probably be fine. Probably.
Bring the Chimera within range so we can get out of this mess.
Yeah. Cool.
If we're in no rush, Quinn can bring it down.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like, I'm literally just gonna have her do it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So how far away do you think the ship is? About 15, 20 minutes?
That's a low estimate, but sure,
Right.
we'll take it.
Sure. So as you guys patiently wait, the whatever sunlight you could see begins to get less and less as the vines sort of cover it up. And then you hear, as the vines cover you, you hear what sounds like rain on your ship. And it seems to go all over. Through the portholes, you can kind of see even like darker shadows of many-legged little arthropods moving around. That seem to like eat a little bit of the vine. Then you hear them sort of like crumble, and probably we see like one, like you're all looking at a porthole and with the last little bit of light, and you see one like eat a little bit of the vine, stop, turn into a little ball, and die, and plunk, like it's like rolls down and hits a part of the ship and underneath you, and you just hear this all happening all over.
Poisonous, got it.
Then you hear some small little crunching happening around as well. Some a little bit louder plip, 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 around. But now there's no visual of what's going on, and you hear plip, 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 as things sound like they're eating.
Cool. Hopefully they leave by the time we set this place on
Is
fire.
there any way we could like reinforce the shields
And
to like while this is happening to prevent, I don't know, the plants eating us or something eating the plants and then eating us, or vines pulling us apart slowly?
I mean, I can try and do something with the shields, sure. Like if you're
Just as
like
precautionary.
I was planning on like trying to get the shields in like an optimal state before the burn anyways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right,
I
basically, yeah, you have the impression something right now is eating those little dead bugs. But you have no idea what it is based on
sure.
your
Like
situation.
Super
But by then-
fast like a super fast circle of life situation. Maybe.
That might require a roll. But yeah, right now, by that point, the ship is in range.
I would like to do the shield thing, and then we can have Quinn do the burn.
How about we do the shield thing and then we have Quinn pipe what the heck is going on to video?
Sure. All right. So shield mechanics, correct?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna spend a charge to use my developer kit.
Well, okay. Well, just so you know, the threat here is 2 dice.
Oh, still.
Boosting shields to be around here, like you're literally controlling like the application of the shots and stuff like that. Like this isn't necessarily a difficult task, is what I'm saying in all things. Not your personal skill, just in general. The idea of doing this isn't
Sure.
necessarily too difficult, right? Cool. 6
I
successes.
figured I might as well use it, and then I could generate it back.
You generate 2 back. So, yeah. Right. So your shields go up, and I think we see the pulse generator go off. Your shields keep it fine, and then all of a sudden, you guys get kind of blinded a little bit by the sun again, as the vines are all immediately kind of repulsed back and sort of die, for lack of a better term. They stop growing.
Is it enough for us to have mobility again, or is it?
Oh
just...
yeah.
Oh, so
No.
the ship.
Your proper ship, your Corvette, Free Spacer's like pulse array around your ship totally could handle these vines, right?
Yeah, I don't like
Okay.
the fact that it was even a roll was because we were on the this thing rather than the big ship.
Correct. Yeah. So that's all gone. Anyone want to try to get out? What do you want to do?
I mean, we could just pilot this thing back into the main ship, find a better place to land that's not potentially poisonous environment outside.
I recommend that we make no physical contact if possible. Move the launch back to the Jin Chimera, fly the Jin Chimera to where we need to be, and then get the launch close to what we need to observe without landing.
I think that's going to be a negative as far as getting the launch back to the Chimera. I don't want
Why?
this thing in the Chimera until we've like scoured it, because just my hunch is that we're going to end up with these murder vines all over our ship, unless
I
we
mean,
have a great
or
procedure
Or an
for dealing with
infestation
it.
of crunchy beetles or whatever
Yeah.
is eating them.
Well, that's why my plan was to essentially the same as last time, do the pesticide thing, but like to the outside of our ship, and
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I
just
figured that
disinfect your
out.
ship.
Anything that we frequently, because we're a scout ship, so anything that we frequently go onto dangerous, potentially hostile environments with our launch, I would imagine we have a procedure. Clark would certainly write a PowerPoint all about it to treat our launch shell with whatever kind of materials we have.
Actually, does our ship just have like decontamination and like
like a double airlock, right? Where it just you go in and it vacuums everything out around the thing. Anything that would be a living would die from that.
So after the burn, are the plants completely gone? Or
Yeah.
are they like beginning to sprout back up? That's the only question that would prevent me from going outside.
No, I feel like I feel like you pulsed enough for good effect here, and they have
Ray is
they're-
outside.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
and if they're gone from this area, I don't see why we'd have to lift off anyways, right?
Yeah. Also, cool. You get out and you step onto crunch of a dozen of these tiny beetles and these small little lizard-like creatures. These 5-legged little lizard
roasted to
reptilian
perfection.
roasted perfection, all crispy and charred.
I take some.
Smells like a real bad barbecue.
Yeah. I take
Still
some.
try not to eat one.
Take some.
We have EVA suits on, right?
Yeah.
We're like in a sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like in a full-on battle suit,
There's
man.
there's yeah. The air compounds here it's nitrogen rich. It's Earth-like in terms of its sensibilities. But yeah, you guys are keeping your vac suits on. This isn't Prometheus. When you show up to a planet, you keep your suits on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
But
don't
what
worry.
if we're the best scientists that money can buy? Because
No.
then maybe we would take our suits off.
But just the helmet, just for a
the
second, to
helmet.
look really close at something because your breath is fogging it up.
The weird snaky thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Right.
Yeah. So the vines seem to have ignored yourselves. The cliff seems to have stopped giving way. Like, I feel like that's the other thing is you guys have been shooting, right? Is like the ship, like half of part of where your landing thing is dangling off the edge. Like your ship is, but it's lodged enough. It's okay. And by this point, you can move it. You're okay.
Just like lift the ship and move it over 10 feet and put it back down.
Well,
Yeah.
to be clear, that's kind of what Clark was saying, was just like, because what Ray was saying earlier made Clark think that this is sort of a semi-active defense of some kind. So like us crunching all over it, if those vines were to hit little 4-foot tall Ray or Clark, we would be squished in minutes.
They're
So
very small.
yeah, so that's what what Clark is trying to avoid, and that's why he wanted to just do the whole magic carpet ride deal with our launch and not ever touch the ground unless we see something we have to go into, regardless of what the Jin Chimera is doing.
Sure.
I mean, really, if you wanted to be super prepared, we could like make some of the herbicide to keep on us in case something happens, and like essentially make an herbicide bomb.
Or like a backpack flamethrower, but it's the
Like
Yeah.
a
whatever.
herbicide
A
grenade.
leaf blower.
The reason I said like
Yeah.
detonator thing is because you could probably make multiple, and rather than like a pack that could be damaged.
Can our multi-tool take like different forms of propellant or whatever too?
Like
yeah, that's kind of what we saw with what Ray did to keep the shuttle free, right? Like expending some of this gel that they had in store.
Oh.
Like you all have some.
Well, then yeah, make
Yeah.
like a fucking like essentially just like a little thing you slot into the med tool, or not med tool, but like multi tool, and
Yeah, just
Right.
swapping the ammo out for, rather than shooting aliens, we're shooting alien plants.
exactly.
Bam.
Okay, but I think this would actually be a short little project to do,
Sure.
right? That would definitely cost you some supply, right? This is you all doing converting some tools to and because you don't just keep the enough of this herbicide around. You're gonna have to manufacture some and then
Yeah.
the release and modifying your kits a little bit to do it. Sure, but that's an easy enough project to do.
So
Probably like 3 successes, right? Something really short.
biosciences, biomechanics. Those two make sense to you.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I would like to spend a charge and use
It's
my survey
like a cool
sensor.
kit. It's essentially. I'm sorry, it's gonna take 7 to do, and it's a crew kit mod essentially.
Essentially, I would like to scan these like the surrounding plant life and make the best like herbicide possible to like both deal with the plants and also so I scan it before doing so.
Right. So you
That's-
have some like of the charred plant matter around.
Yeah, that's so I'm using my scanner to help with that, if that makes sense.
Sure. So let me ask you guys this question because this determines the difficulty of this challenge here, this project. Do you want to make something? And this is actually a mechanical question. Do you want to make something that's useful as in gives you like a die mod. Like literally, like you're creating sort of like an actual proper mod kit. You could spend charge to your mod kit to use. Here,
Sure.
right? Do you want to give it 1 die, or do you want to give it 2 dice when you apply this thing? Right, like how hardcore do you want to make this thing essentially, right?
As good
Because
as possible.
So what I mean by that is that the milestones themselves is still 7, but the difficulty for each individual part of this project would be it would be a 4 for 1 or a 5 for 2, right? The difference
I would say
between
just
something that's
make it work
practical
as
versus
one,
potent, right?
as good as possible because they don't want to spend a lot of time here if they don't
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah,
I
but
would
also
rather-
science. Do you know?
Well, that's the thing. They're more excited about things that like this whole it's like a buffet
Right.
versus a dish you're making.
Yeah, do you go?
Like
Yeah,
they already have they want to go to the buffet. They love the dish you're making and support you fully and will help you. But there's a buffet.
Yeah, we're trying to get past this and make sure like 5 is fine.
Plark would basically permit or borderline command to use as much supply as we need to. This is our contract. So he would just say, reminder, this is why we are here. Expediency and potency are of utmost importance. I will stand guard while you do this. And he would actually, my away weaponry is maxed out right now, so he would be like the gunner
Sure.
position.
All right, so 5 is fine.
Yep.
-2.
Yikes.
That's the first like real bad roll I've rolled this game.
Right.
Why'd you roll like me?
Yeah, that's. Oh, this is the wrong size. Stand by. I'll give you a failure in just a second. I was going to do project, herbicide. So that's 1 out of 7. I think the obvious answer here is that you're rushing, and I think there's a minor like release of the herbicide propellant, and it basically like you have to clear the room for a little bit here, and you totally got some on you, and so you're gonna take 3 harm here, damage of 3.
Does shield do anything about that or?
Yeah, so there's a good time to talk about damage. So when you're doing, so typically like this is like if you were doing damage, it would be like 1, 3, or 5 here. So I think the difficulty of the result of an herbicide on you is 3, especially one that's supposed to be quick acting.
Sure.
That would be really bad to get on you, and maybe it's also just so there's a couple things that resist and ablate damage here, right? So it's not. So it depends on what type of thing this is. If it's like a kinetic or energy or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, your EVA suit does come into play here as far as determining whether or not or how much you can resist in terms of like your damage that you take. So like if you were using kinetic stuff, then your shields don't really help you. But if you're using lasers, then your shields help you, but your armor doesn't. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So I think it reduces it by 1. And so do you have what's called damage slots here?
Yeah.
Right. So no, it doesn't have potency to biotech. So I think really here, because this is, do you have art? Would it be resilience? I guess I'm trying to think of how it would be. Yeah. So this is your exposure armor, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What type of EVA suit layer did you have selected for your character?
I don't believe I had one selected at the start. I mean,
Okay. Well,
so
to have one, you would also have cost you a bit of supply.
Sure.
But it would like examples are exposure armor, caustics coating, a pathogen filter, plasma insulation, a pressure shell, or a radiation barrier.
I already my species already has pressure shell, just like as a part of our existence.
Sure. Okay.
So that's the thing. But I'd if I'm on a planet, it would probably be pathogen filter because like I'm not expecting radiation or plasma like burns or anything like that.
Sure. Okay. I'm cool with that. But I think in terms of like what this is, so this isn't a pathogen because it's not like it's not infectious.
No,
right?
I don't. It would be like the caustics coating is what I'd actually want. It's just like
Yeah.
not what I was like. I was just being honest. Like if I was to have one, like and only pick one, pathogen filter is what I would have chosen.
Sure. So I think there's going to be 3 damage to. I'm thinking whether it's your resilience or your integrity.
Sure.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's your armor. So you said you were gonna let your armor hit it, right? Sure. So your armor takes it. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. So your armor absorbs the damage. So you're fine, but your EVA suit's kind of eaten up by the compound.
That's fair. I can fix that later.
Sure.
That was both a really good and really bad roll at the same time.
Yeah, like shooting the moon. If you get -6, you're so bad that you succeed. No, that's not true. You're just probably dead.
I would. Are we cool with me just trying again?
Clark would definitely have checked in on you, so he would have like rushed in when he saw all of your warning signs, firing in your suit, like hit points go. So he would rush in and check to see what happened. But what's Hush like when that happened?
It doesn't even really phase her. She's like cursing at the thing and like stripping off parts of the suit, but it's just like, it's just like, this will be fine, sir.
Right.
Just give me a few minutes.
Cue a patch project, right? To repair your suit.
Pretty
Would
much.
the researcher be able to help?
Totally. If you want to research something that could help speed the process of being like, well, maybe we shouldn't use these compounds. Maybe we should use this other compound. That'd be better. That's totally a thing you could do to help set up the project, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. With Clark would be like, use the crew at your disposal, Hush. This is important. I'll watch the perimeter. So he would like ping for you guys to come, for Ray and Chuck to come help in any way, and he would be the only one like outside.
Then if anyone like wishes to assist, then Hush isn't going to turn people away.
Right. I don't think it's Christoph's intention for us to make an investigation project as a subset of a mod kit project. I could see that happening, but I don't think we're going to do it for this one, just for the sake of brevity here.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend the whole day doing project and then not actually explore the planet,
It's also why
I could see it happen.
Helping seems like it can divert things sometimes. So
exactly.
Make things take longer.
Right. And I think it's one of the cool things about the game is that you could totally do it that way if you wanted to. It's kind of like Burning Wheel in terms of its like scope of flexibility for what roles can be. A little bit.
So if someone was to help, would that just put ticks on the project or reduce the size of the project, or what would it do?
Helping would be working towards the project, which would put ticks on the project. Remember, 2 successes is 3. 3 bits. Partial is 2.
Then if someone wants to help, feel free.
Yeah, I think we're researching. I think Ray said that, right?
Well, I offered it up because Adam's a researcher, and I know the last couple of games since he's been the pilot hasn't had a big chance to do things, and I want to make sure that.
Yeah, Plark.
What? My fault.
You're the captain. You take responsibility for everything.
I didn't even want to come here.
Yeah. Plark, how do you feel about this on your ship? This seems like a violation of HR violation or some kind of like group protocol of like proper safety procedures. Like you're a stickler for procedure, and it's probably something was rushed, right?
Yeah, he's
or not. Maybe
yeah, that's the thing. Plark is like all by the book by procedures, except for he's a super softy for his crew. So if Hush is like, "Go away, Dad," then Clark's like, "Okay," and he's just sort of allows that to be a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So my research is going to be into containment facilities.
Right. Well,
before
Adam, that sounds great, but Plark, I think, still wants to help though, or try to help.
Oh no! What I wanted Plark to do. Sorry if I was confusing. I was telling Chuck and Ray get their smart butts in here and help Hush so she doesn't melt the whole ship to pieces, and Plark can be the one running around in circles making sure that no space aliens come to try to eat us.
Oh, with the gunnery. That's right. You did mention that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I understand now. That was my bad. Sorry. Adam, go ahead.
So I'm going to research kind of containment because of the one problem that we had. I'm just looking for some way that I can kind of a reverse shield so that if anything else does happen to explode, it kind of absorbs most of the force of it and gives us a way to deal with that.
That sounds like that does sound like a project in and of itself. Hold on, of creating a reverse shield.
No, so
You know what I
so
mean? Like that sounds.
So Hush is building this thing, and I am researching various ways to kind of rearrange our workspace so that the place that she is working is safer from various dangerous things that could be happening. So like, we put it on this side of the...
sure, yeah. Right. I'm sorry. I once again, I think I had a different impression of what you were doing in my head.
I'm not trying to build anything crazy. That's not my job. But
Are you trying to bring my workspace up to code? God damn it.
Yeah.
God.
I mean, we're gonna go all. What is it? We're gonna be all Kanban in here about where the materials are and where your
mise en place
are. Your tools have to be in the right
Yeah,
space. All this kind of thing.
mise en place.
Clark's really into agile.
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah. I'm like, look, just let me clean up for a second, please.
Like this pile of old rags that you were definitely going to use for this other thing. They're the perfect level of greasiness of absorbent. He just cleans them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a threat, sir. We still have 5.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the whole project is this. Sorry.
Okay, this is still going to be negative, but it'll be a fun time. Hey.
You fuck up my workstation and I hate
You know, I think the only proper response to failure is that, like, when you're, like, done, you, like, look at this whole thing and, like, your arm, like, hits the container and you also get hit by the same explosion again. So I think you also are going to take harm here from another secondary explosion from all your hard
would
work.
let me just slide a little ship away from here.
Yeah, I was on board for it, but we didn't
fancy.
want to,
Oh my gosh.
God. I thought this would take 2 minutes to do. Instead, your ship is completely covered in herbicide. Yeah. I think at this point, it's blowing it up twice. So yeah. So I don't know what thing you have on your armor and stuff, Adam.
I've got everything.
Right. Was anyone else in this room when it happened?
Probably not.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like Ray, yeah, also exposed.
Yeah, I don't want to lie to protect myself.
No,
Yeah.
why? You could just say you went to get a snack real quick. Lie
I
every
do
time.
love snacks. And I was talking about buffets.
I wouldn't have wanted anybody else in there while I was moving everything around, and I would have called Hush back in at the moment that it was done to be like, check it out. Isn't it so much better right now? I wouldn't have called you back in yet.
Yeah,
So-
no, I rolled the dice. One was I went to get snacks. One is yes, two is no, as always. I was out getting snacks.
Okay. I believe that, and the dice have
Yeah.
decided. Okay. Yeah,
Snack
so it was just
dice.
you. So Chuck, you have also proceeded to expose yourselves. What is your what type of armor do you have? Do you have caustic? You're muted, buddy.
Yeah, I've got caustics on the outside.
Okay. I think that will inure you to the damage. I just want to make sure. I'm just going to double check the damage to make sure I read that right.
How much
I've
more
also
supply
got
do we have, by
combat
the way?
armor.
Or
So
reduces your damage.
How much supply do we have left?
You have like, I mean, every armor upgrade like that costs a bit of supply too.
Sure.
But like,
I'm
you're
willing
probably
to-
still with it. You're more than 10. I can't imagine you're less than 10.
spending. I can spend a supply to fix my armor, so I was just asking.
Jack. Yeah. It doesn't say, but I imagine it does reduced.
Caustics is a exposure armor 3 slot against caustics
Right.
until depleted.
So it would just eat up 3 damage.
Oh, so then it eats 3 just like it did to Alice's,
Yes.
right? To Hush's then. No, I'm sorry. I thought it might have been special compared to the other one. My
Nope.
bad. Cool. Okay. Jack.
It's
Oh.
just specific.
Right.
Now that
Oh,
No.
then hold on. Now that that's true, then I think we did it wrong for you, Alice.
Why?
Then maybe because you didn't have the caustics to shield, so I guess it would have went to resilience, right?
Well, it would. That's why it damaged the armor rather than like just actually function, right?
Well, no, I think it would have basically got into your suit and so like your suit
Yeah.
wouldn't have absorbed it. It would have your armor doesn't ablate it. The fact that you had caustic stuff that ablates the 3. This would have went to your resilience.
Combat armor protects against directed energy and impact, like swords and clubs and laser
not
rifles.
talking about that. I was more just saying that like the reason never mind. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, having a caustic coating would have meant that your armor could absorb the herbicide, but instead this goes inside of your suit, and it would have done 3 damage to your resilience, which you have out of 5. So I think you're okay.
Oh, okay. Sure.
But what that means is that you have a disadvantage on tasks, and then it goes to integrity, and then it goes to vitality.
And is there nothing to do about that?
I think there's ways to heal and stuff like that. It's it's called patching.
Sure.
Rays are kind of like not really our doctor, but most bio savvy person. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically a biodermal
Healthy.
patch is what the game calls it for healing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I could get one of those then before doing the roll, because I'd rather not have disadvantage.
Sure.
Sure. Could Ray do a thing towards this project as well?
Totally.
Since they were sort of had the thing. So to heal, just before I move on from it, to heal Hush from the damage of the caustics that they got through the armor, what would I do for that? Or is it just I say I do it and then it's done? It seems like
Yeah. There's no.
okay. All right,
roll
just
for
making sure
healing.
that there's not like a
project or anything like that.
yeah.
for
There's
stuff.
a
Yeah,
medicine
project within
skill,
a project.
so-
Good question.
Yeah.
No, you can
Okay.
heal or repair damage during an encounter. It's replaced with that patch. It's kind of like fate.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So what I thought would be a really easy thing, we have now proceeded to blow up the lab twice with this herbicide. What's the plan?
I'm gonna give it.
Do you want to abandon the project? Does Ray? Do you want to give
abandon
it?
the project?
I think it's fair to say that to continue on this project will cost you now another supply, as both like your supply spent to make
2
this project for the
explosions.
first time has been exploded twice. I think that's pretty reasonable. Also pretty harsh by me, I think, but I think that's just how it goes sometimes. The supply was wasted.
I think
Projects don't
Clark
always work.
is stubborn enough where if this was the plan we decided,
Oh yeah.
then
If
he
you-
would continue to recommend that we pursue that. So
If
it's
if you tell Hush to stop, he's gonna say "fuck you" and keep
Yeah.
going. Like that's
that's what I figured anyway. So he's just ignoring what's going on, hoping no one dies.
An optimistic manager. What a
Sure.
beautiful character.
So who wants to step up to the
Over
plate?
trusting.
I mean,
I
I thought Ray was.
Okay.
I'm stepping up. Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird. I was muted again. So can I do another biomechanics roll?
Describe for us what it looks like first before you make any
So
roll.
I think that the reason that it's been exploding is because it's too caustic and it needs to have a reliable delivery agent. And I think like
Gel.
maybe gel. Like maybe they've been using like liquid or gas. And I'm like, no. Gel. No. You guys gotta put some gel in it.
You gelin?
You gel it?
Do you
Right.
have charge? Like, do you have any like suit stuff that would be useful here?
So
How do you mean?
Like, if you scroll down, do you have any like suit like multi-tool like scanner? Like, do you have any suit things that would be useful?
Oh, right. I have a 2 sampler incubator. That's not really, unless I've been incubating this whole time.
I
Fine.
mean, to be fair,
Well, you 2 have been blowing stuff up.
to be fair, sampler or like sensor would both work.
All right. Eric, can I use my sampler? Can I get some sampler in it?
yeah, I think using some samples to help determine sort of the best course of action here, in terms of like how to best apply things makes sense. And
Okay.
you're using biomedicine to
Yeah.
like help you with your research and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Biomechanics,
Right.
sampler. Yeah. So I knock my capacity down 1, and then I
Not
get
capacity, charge.
nope.
Capacity is the amount of charge you can have without overcharging. You mark your charge down by 1.
Thank you.
All right. I may have to look at what you were describing earlier and fix that, but later, not now, later. Like, oh, just click these buttons. So yeah.
I like how savvy you all are with the rules.
So I move my charge down by 1. Not my
You
capacity.
mentioned things to give me
Yeah.
more dice, and I pay attention.
And I'm just like, more dice. I don't need to learn that. And I fail everything.
It doesn't matter. More dice. It
Wait a
doesn't.
second.
More fails, I guess. Poor Gene. Yeah.
Beginning to realize, like, one of those revelations, be like, oh wait, this is
The threat is still 5.
okay.
Right. It's got this whole project.
Mechanics. So since I use 1 charge, I get 1 dice.
Well, you
No,
get whatever you have in your specialty.
Yeah, you get whatever your sampler dice
okay,
are.
2. Okay, excellent. Right, now that makes sense after you say it out loud. Okay, and 5 threat.
Can you spend multiple charge?
Whew.
Jeez, that was an unfortunate
Can
roll.
you spend multiple charge?
On like a single thing?
Not a single thing, but you can do other things.
Can I have used the ship charge to help?
This scale doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I mean, it depends on how you fictionally, like, what does that look like, right? Once again, can I use something is
Right. I have to talk about it mechanically.
right.
I think I'm just gonna go with this fail.
Well, I'm not. Yeah. Well, I'm.
Yeah.
All right.
We're
Like,
gonna
I'm
say
not.
this fail.
I'm not. I try to my best. I do. I know everyone who's probably has now been reading the Free Spacer, or like in the future reading the book and watching this then and being like, I can't believe he's going to say this, but I do my best to adhere to the rules as written of the book. But there are, yeah, I think there's definitely a case to be made is if you can come up with a clever, crafty way to use a skill in a way, I will tend to allow it. Or like if you want to use the ship in a particular way to give you extra dice in a way that you don't think it normally could, but like what you come up with is really ingenious, that's cool. I'm all about rewarding player creativity.
So can I
in
play
games.
off the failure that I just had? Because
Yeah, but let's talk
Can I
about
tell
what
you
this
I
looks
will-
like.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
sure.
I'll finish that sentence in a second.
Okay.
I think I've seen both of them, people who are very good at their jobs, fail. So before I fail, which I know is going to happen because I'm very bad at everything, I let's trust the dice. They know what they're talking about. I'm enthusiastic, but not accurate. And it's when the explosion happens again.
Oh my god.
I have my liquid tanks filled with a safety gel that floods the chamber to combine with the damaging caustic gel as a sort of like backup project to see if I can't force the explosion to combine them instead of us doing it scientifically.
Oh, like
and to
if
help also protect myself. It's like the Demolition Man when he crashes the car and it fills with styrofoam.
I think all right. Here's what I think what happens, because I think that's actually a cool idea for what failure looks like, is that was part of your engineering process for this thing. So you're at 3 out of 7 here. But here's the problem. You're able to trap it, but I think something happened in the trapping process where now you can't untrap it. And now you have to figure out a way to like research your way to like get it usable. Like the failsafe triggered and it locked it together and you're like, perfect. I saved for this self-destruct explosion. Bad news is I have no way to access it.
Like it's a gel, but it's too firm. It's like a jiggler instead of a goo.
Yeah, it worked too well essentially, and now you I'm going to invoke what's called you're gonna have to do a different task here at like 3 difficulty to like research or figure out a way to like get this thing usable again.
So Ray does this, and then like
This doesn't counter its progress of the project, by the way.
Slurps out of the room that's now filled with gel.
Yeah.
And like goes to Hush and is like, eh?
No.
Nailed it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna try and fucking like biosciences, like I'm gonna scan it and be like, what can I do to like what compound can I add here to like essentially have these two compounds separate?
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try and solve it with a biosciences thing. Beforehand, like scanning it and being like, so what can I do? Like that sort of like I'm gonna try and analyze it and figure out the best course of action.
Okay.
You said that's a 3 threat thing.
Yeah. This is a regular task.
Holy shit! I cannot roll this session.
Wow.
What's happening? As soon as it becomes not ship stuff.
Oh well, I mean, I think I know what it is here. You're working. It's taking a lot more time than you want. There's a loud explosion in the distance as the volcano
Oh my god.
gets larger, or it intensifies as more billowing black and purple smoke goes into the atmosphere. It like rocks the ship as you feel the aftershocks here.
Holy shit.
And I think at that point we're gonna go to break.
Fucking...
So we're about at the halfway point. So hold on to your butts, everybody. We're gonna be back in about 5 minutes or so. Don't go anywhere. Once again, this is Kickstarter. This is Free Spacer on Kickstarter right now. I'm gonna do free ! Free Spacer. Go check it out. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the other side of the break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second part here, Free Spacer Episode 3. We are failing to make herbicide. Yeah, so also the volcano is getting worse.
I think you mean succeeding at not making herbicide.
Right.
We just got to frame positivity here.
Yeah.
So each roll of this requires 3 resources or uses 3 resources. Rather than trying to outfit everyone, can we just say 3 successes is enough to put it on one person?
I think so. I think that's pretty fair. That our resources should be lower now than what they were, and I think at that point I've been like, yeah, this is too much. We're gonna this is as best as we're gonna get it, and especially now the volcanoes be like, maybe we have better things to do. Second of all, yeah.
You go. Sorry.
Sorry, I just said I am gonna actually need a roll. I'm going to retcon something. This was my bad because I looked it up over the break. Healing is actually a actual challenge here to do. It's a 3 challenge. That's my bad.
Medicine
so we should
roll?
yeah that seems right.
Let me check.
Yeah, it's a 3 challenge.
That makes sense. Nope, that's the same.
Do we need 3 successes on a roll?
Same. You just need to beat 3 challenge. Like the threat is 3. You just need to beat that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it to myself because I think I have the most. It's actually tied between me and Ray. So if Ray, you want to do it?
I only have 2 in biosciences. I have nothing in medicine right now.
Yeah, we have the same dice.
Sure. Do you want to spend charge, or does somebody want to help you?
Well, I think Hush seems to be independent too. And also they probably wouldn't want Ray.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spend a dice and spend a charge to use my med tool. Does that seem fair?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm nodding. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
I
know you're looking at the character sheet. I realized that as soon as I said it, I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can't roll this session. Sorry.
Wow. Alice, I've never seen you roll this bad before in any game.
No, it's unprecedented, is what it is.
Frankly. All right.
Does
let's
it just not work if it's just a heal thing?
I mean, that makes
consequences with every fail.
Yeah. This game doesn't have just.
I'd rather not accidentally stab myself.
Yeah, no, that's not what it is. I think what I'm gonna do is kind of like what the option you have when you fail a progress here is I'm going to improve one of the site's threats here. So don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm still injured though, so like I would need to still fucking try again though, right?
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I think it'll cost more patches, right?
Yeah.
So do we need to do another roll, or should we?
Yeah.
You're nodding again. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I
think a patch probably costs supply, right? Or at least a new one. Yeah.
All right. If you say so.
Does Plark think that this is like, what's the scale of injury here? Because if it's at a point where we're at risk of losing Hush or serious,
it's mostly just I'll have disadvantage on rolls until we fix it.
I know it's just like periphery damage, but even just mean aesthetically or like emotionally, is it like a burn across her whole body? Like, what is that like?
I picture it like when she was working, there was like the chemical reaction that like essentially just exploded out of like with a beaker or whatever, and so like she has like burns on her shoulder, and you're starting to get the sense that it's not the being hurt that's starting to get to her, it's this constant failure is starting to like she's starting to become more and more agitated and like harder to deal with.
Oh, yeah. On your sheet, by the way, there's patches, so they don't cost you supply. So you just used one of your patches. And so you use another one if you want.
Where are those?
Yeah.
Eric, you're watching the same thing I'm watching,
yeah.
I assume? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So Plark would be while Hush struggles to patch herself up, and it would kind of like silently or like text communicate to Ray to come and help, but also would be there with Hush. And probably Clark wouldn't do the thing that's like, oh, it's going to be okay. He'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like, do better. Sort of, he would match his tone appropriately to what he thinks Hush needs at that moment. And so give the little bit of like tough coach talk.
Yeah.
To her.
At the moment, like until Ray gets there, it's like, I don't know how interactive she is with what you're saying at the moment. It's more like, God, she's like pacing around and has like a fucking bar in her hands and is like bending it and shit. And it's just like, yeah, it's just wants to hit and tear things apart and doesn't want to hurt other people. So it's just like bending this fucking bar into a pretzel.
Clark would like give you other detritus
Bars.
to break and like just sort of facilitate that vent for a second.
Yeah, but she's just like a string of like angry noises and like hissing, and is just like, if you take a step towards her, will like stare at you for a second, like out of reaction, and then continue pacing.
And so the doors slide open and or up or whatever they do. And Trey's like, now who here needs a doctor? Guessing it's you. All right.
It's the response you get.
That's fair. I came in too friendly.
But like she hisses at you, but like when you take a step forward and like have the medical thing, she'll like
begrudgingly
intake air through nostrils and then
the widest of the nose flares.
Slowly sit down.
Oh yeah.
Where on the sheet are the patches? Because I've been looking.
Underneath conditions, near your health and
Condition
stuff.
slots?
Yeah, do you see?
Oh, patches. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there it is. All right. Boop. What?
Beep boop.
Beep boop.
Is this the session where Gene rolls well?
No.
No. No.
Can't.
It says everyone rolls bad.com.
That cannot be. Yeah, so biosciences, and then I don't think there's really anything I mean, I don't get a help from the patch. I'm just using that narratively, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see if there's something else from your kit that's useful though.
I don't think there is. I don't have a med tool.
Let me see.
Holo projector? Can I like make soothing like visual images to distract you from hitting me while I heal you?
Yeah, you have what, Alice, what did you use? I forget what it's called. It's
I
something
used
in
the
your
med
kit.
tool.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you.
They don't have that.
I don't have that.
I was gonna say maybe depth analyzer, like analyze like the parts, analyze Hush, and be like, what's
Area
going on?
effect. I mean, I could do that too. Just like to sort of give you an overall scan, just to. No, Eric's shaking his head no.
I don't think so. I mean, like, once again, like, I just said literally right before break how much I love when you guys do, y'all do really cool and like ingenious things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think scanning is gonna help you here.
Yeah.
Not like a med tool would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
So,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I mean, hold on. Well, let me put it this way. You think it's one way. I think it's another. Mm-hmm. But as a group, would it make sense that the sensors would help in this regard? Well, like,
what?
Let's do this. We're a republic of people who game together. Is this? Are we cool with that decision?
Really, honestly, no. It was just a thing, just to see, because they're gonna probably fail this roll, which is gonna be somewhat frustrating because it's 2 dice with a threat of 3.
But there's always a chance.
Yeah, so I was just kind of fishing.
No, totally. Okay, once again, right. Like I'm very, very much in the style that I might be like the president, but us together as Congress, and you can 2/3 override a veto, right? You know what I mean? Like you if you all are like, no, Eric, it actually makes more sense to do it that way. I'm cool with it, right? Always.
I think if Hush's injuries were more internal, like organ damage or something, then maybe. Yeah. But this being like a surface like burn, for lack of a better term, yeah.
Yeah. It's irritant. Yeah.
There we go.
It's like sunscreen in your eyes, only all over, and it's sad. Hey, it's a partial.
Oh God, thank
Yeah.
you.
That is good.
Good job, Ray.
Let's see. This is SciTech. I just want to see if there's any sort of like. Does it destroy anything here? Or I don't want to give you another like. I don't know. I'm struggling to come up with the what do you think partial success here looks like. That would be interesting.
Scars.
Other than more. Oh yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense. That you're colored. Yeah, I think maybe you're just
Like the kind of packs that I
All right.
have, I just like start
What
wrapping them
color-
in seaweed.
So I think I think it's a discoloration, right?
It
I mean,
tints
like,
your skin.
Yeah, it's like what color? Okay, so because I'm not the scientific expert, I'm gonna let someone else who is playing with the chemicals explain what two colors combined and made what color, and that
I
is the
mean,
color that is on
What
you
color
now.
are you normally?
I was gonna say they're like a bright green, like a
Okay.
Oh, yeah, like an emerald tree boa.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
the-
dope as heck. Yeah,
The seaweed with the salve on it makes like every place that I've like layered it around you dark green. Like it just sort of like absorbs into
I
your
was gonna
skin.
say rather than just like rather than the being a discoloration, it could just be there aren't scales any like there anymore, right? Like
Like those
Yeah.
birds who lose their feathers. And then
Yeah,
they're,
like
they're all
there's,
kind of
like-
patchy.
there's like a patch of like a streak without scales. So
Mm.
you see like the dull kind of gray underneath.
yeah, until they grow back.
Well, they
Okay.
still like even when they grow back, they're probably gonna look slightly different, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
So when they grow back, dark green.
yeah, when they grow back, it'll be dark green, but there'll be scales again. Right now, there just aren't any. Like they just
Yeah.
fell off.
Like it's like a disgusting fleshy human.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
humans and their soft skins and
The worst.
4-chambered hearts. Disgusting.
Oily.
No, no fucking redundant organs
Thumbs.
or anything. Fuck.
No protective shell to knock my head off.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would treat that, but then I think we're going to issue the project. That's a cloud. I don't want to grab the cloud. I wanted to grab the project. Cool. Which of you has the modified kit?
I'm gonna give it to Plark because Plark is the one most in danger of being crushed alive.
And if we can make it through my away weaponry, then I'm pretty good. I'm maxed out on that right now, so it makes kind of
Yeah.
mechanical sense too.
Hey, I love when they line up like that.
No, I think you have to spend a charge to activate it. I don't think it works that way.
But would the skill I roll if it was
Yeah.
a challenge be away weaponry? That's what I'm asking.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it like a
yeah.
gun?
Sorry,
Okay.
yeah, you're right. So what you have now is you basically have a new mod kit feature, right? With one specialty checked into it. So if you wanted to spend a charge, you could get 1 die. Oh, so, excuse me, 2 dice. You did the better one. So this
Yeah,
one has 2
yeah.
dice in it. Forgive me, I misspoke. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you could spend a charge from your suit, you get 2 extra dice if you wanted to invoke the herbicide
Cool.
thrower. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. I think that's cool. Yeah. So like the smoke is now gonna like drifting to your all's position. Right. Like most of the island now, almost like let's say something like 7/8 of the island is like is enshrouded in this smoke. You have not seen any sort of like birds or anything like that flying away from here. In fact, it seems eerily quiet. You probably have your EVA suits on and stuff, so maybe the smell coming in here is very just sulfurous, I guess, is maybe the best way of putting it. It's not pleasant. Like your filters are doing as best they can, so it's innocuous what you're smelling, but it's definitely not like, oh yeah, that's probably but not good air to breathe. Or maybe you do breathe sulfur and you're like, boom.
I don't breathe air, so it's fine.
What do I breathe? What is it? Oh yeah, I breathe nitrogen.
Like a human.
I breathe.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I was like,
I
I,
know.
breathe in, I breathe
You-
out oxygen. So that's
Yeah.
maybe
I
useful.
think was it nitrogen methane?
nitrogen oxygen.
Oh, nitrogen oxide. Okay.
Uh,
You breathe laughing gas?
Apparently.
Is that what laughing gas is?
That explains their mood all the time.
Okay.
Wait, actually, I think that's wrong. Yes,
Isn't-
that is
isn't-
that's
isn't
completely
NO2
wrong.
Isn't
I
NO2
was
life and gas?
Sorry, I was looking at Ray's.
Is that what you? Oh,
I breathe in nitrogen. I breathe out ammonia.
Oh,
So-
that's awful. Okay.
okay.
Mm.
That's.
I think you need a mint.
I know, right?
Wait, if you breathed out and sprayed bleach, you could do it like a mustard gas breath.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. So
Okay.
we go to the volcano.
I mean, are you gonna fly there in the smoke and stuff, or you gotta?
How
What do you-
far away is it from where we are?
Good question, standby. It's about
Oh,
about 900 miles.
my
that's
scale
all?
was very
Yeah.
off.
We could just walk. You guys want to walk? Ride our bikes? I
Can
think
we-
we have to launch, yeah.
Well, can we rewind and what is the overall goal of being down in this place in the first place?
Oh yeah,
Like-
sure. So your contract is you're supposed to investigate some strange signal.
Then a volcano.
The signal is coming from the volcano,
Okay, there you go.
we are
That's
now,
what I was looking
or
for.
I should say, in the direction of the volcano.
We're looking for a Bond villain in their secret volcano lair.
Yep.
They left the stove on.
There's a technological anomaly in the Calcaeus cloud.
They left their sentient stove
Right.
And
on.
it seems
That
to be
is-
coming from the direction of the volcano.
You right? I know because I I wanted to jump ahead because I was like, we should get off the ship and do stuff. I know. We wanted to. Yeah, you're. This is the source of the anomaly is coming from this like micro Dyson sphere, this hollow planetoid. That was run. That's an old Kerseron's facility of some kind, and yeah, it's coming from inside here. Your personal. No, you released the model Memesite, right? Okay. Yeah.
If
They'll
we're
let
going
you
to
get
fly
away
towards
and-
that, we're not going to fly through the smoke because that's just a terrible idea.
Mhm.
Can we get over it?
You're gonna fly above the smoke?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, we don't need to deal with anything that's between us and volcano, especially if we're tracking the signal. We're just
Right.
trying to get to the point where we know whereabouts
Sure.
it is.
Sure. Your signal tracking though is getting more and more interfered with as the smoke compounds go off. In fact, you can see in the black, purpley, grayish, hazy smoke, you can see like little bits of that lightning. Like you all see that volcano lightning? You know what I'm talking about? You seen?
That's
Yeah.
some space lighting, that is.
Yeah, and you can just see that crackling inside. It's not a pleasant time. Yeah, consequentially, your sensors are like, I don't know about this. I don't
mean,
know.
if we go- if we-
you're gonna need to do stuff to ensure the signal is strong.
If we go over the top and get much closer to the volcano,
Yeah.
that's less smoke between us and volcano.
Right. It would be easier to it might be easier to be closer to the signal technically, like as a crow flies, so to speak. Sure.
Is
it
that
might-
cool with people?
Take us up, Pilot Chuck.
Let's do it.
Up. Chuck.
Does anyone call Chuck Chuckles ever?
You probably do.
No, I don't. I never would. But that's why I asked.
Nobody you've ever heard. But maybe his contact does, and he hates it.
Good.
Sure. Sure. You're flying. Visuals is to a minimum, but it is a really cool scene. So, the smoke from this size volcano is going very high up into sort of like the stratosphere area. So like you're in kind of like the part of the sky, like you're above normal cloud cover basically, and we can kind of see the dark clouds coming above as we like you soar over. With that thin stretch of sky kind of ahead above you, sort of like this blackish gray interior of the exterior of the shell of where you're at, with these huge multiple like small like unmoving kind of like turbine fan looking kind of like radiator vent things as you're just like hovering over, flying through this thing with like the purple like cloud stuff shooting lightning every so often below you. That's a really cool scene. I'm just admiring it in my head for a moment. And what do you want to do?
So, help me with the scale of our like sensors from our launch shuttle.
Mhm.
Are we like, is it as capable? I assume not as capable as our primary ship in terms of figuring out what this signal is. And I know that there's like interference from all the volcanic activity too, but how close do we need to get, I guess, to feel like confident in what the signal is?
You're confident enough that this is as close as you can get without exposing yourselves to danger if you want to try the array. So it's
Give it a scan.
you're essentially, what I'm describing is that you're basically in a controlled position right now to do a sensor scan.
Hit it.
Yeah. So I'm just making sure I get this one right. I so can't find interference. Nope.
Mhm.
Nope. Perception survey analysis.
Yeah, sure. Are you doing the wide brand or narrow? Do you want to drill into something, or do you want to get a what?
Well, I wanted to drill into it, but I can't make my eyes find the exact spot on my character.
They're the two specialties right underneath, I think, where you were looking. I forget the name of them
Perception,
offhand. Let
survey,
me open.
alertness, and analysis.
Sorry, no, I thought you were.
Skills.
Um,
Depth sensor. Depth
yeah, I thought
analyzer.
that's. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
those are the ones I was looking at. It's under your crew kit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I do a survey of the situation by spending a charge and using my depth analyzer?
Oh hell yeah.
Nice. Okay. See, I'm learning this game. 3 games in, get it down.
I mean, honestly, that's about how long it takes me to usually like get a decent grasp on something, like 3 or 4.
Just say a bunch of techno babble, Gene.
Yeah.
You sound like you know what you're saying, at least.
I almost wrote 20 advantage. That's too many.
Yep.
Threat 3.
Actually,
have
that
to-
seems fine.
Just have to not say anything to Eric.
Sure.
Just no one will
Uh,
notice if you roll 20 more dice.
That's right.
Mhm.
7 successes.
So 2 things happen at this point. One, the volcano erupts again, exacerbating the situation as more smoke's coming up. But as you're doing that, you're able to get 2 signals. You're able to get this.
I haven't rolled yet.
I thought you just rolled 1 success.
No.
No, you rolled
That
2
was
dice.
That was earlier.
That was
That was
your-
a
That
Oh,
was earlier.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Continue.
As I was about to roll, and you said something happens, like, oh, I haven't. Let's
Yeah,
make
sorry.
sure
My bad.
that
I
this
was
is
looking
clear.
at.
No, you're very
I
excited.
thought the old roll was the new roll.
Congressional
No, for some
veto.
reason I was looking at I scrolled down, like I was like above rather than where we were. So when I scrolled down, I saw that roll and I was like, oh, that must have been the roll.
I'm just
That was
making sure
I'm
it's
sorry.
3
Yeah, totally.
3 threat dice.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I needed to press submit.
Yeah, my bad.
That was the same thing, so keep going.
Oh, it's the same.
I don't know why I stopped you.
yeah. Okay.
We get to add those together, right?
So 2 things, right? First one, volcano worsens, and second, you get 2 signals now. One of the signals is the tried and true like medium band of whatever this anomaly is. The second one is definitely coming in from another free spacer ship. Very faintly. It's getting worse as it's getting degraded by the coming storms. What do you do?
Can I tell anything about it? Like if it's a...
No, not at this point. It's very weak. It's definitely like SOS. It's the default emergency.
Yeah, well, our job isn't that ship. Our job is what's in this volcano. So
Yeah.
I tell people, obviously, in case...
Yeah, Plark would say, bring us closer and try to hone in on that SOS signal.
But yes, Cap. Yeah. They were like turning knobs. They start turning them the other way.
Okay.
Plark, it's a simple dude. He's got to save people.
Yeah. So, this will be a little bit of a piloting challenge. Flying into jettisoning rocks and smoke. I can't imagine is something you technically, you proficiently do day in, day out. It's not a routine procedure for Chuck.
No, this is the video game I would play on our table before it was busted up.
Yeah, just dodging rocks and stuff with absolutely zero visibility.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's like one of those 2D style.
Yeah, the game is called Dodge Us Rock or You Die. It's an app.
So then So then the bigger question that I have is it really as much of a piloting test as it is a perception alertness test?
Ooh, that's a good question. I could see it go either way here, frankly.
I mean, if it's going to go either way, I'm going to pick the one that I have 5 dice in.
Right. Well, I think the perception alertness test will be a little bit more difficult of a challenge because objectively, you need to foresee things before, and so then it basically trivializes the piloting role, right?
Sure. Is there a
So
way
like
I
the difficult, if you want to make the test being able to like basically use everything you can to premonice, to foretell or forecast where these rocks are going to be, I think forecasting where exploding rocks coming at you is a more difficult test than necessarily just relying on piloting, right?
Sure.
Getting more space.
And I don't see any good way for me to trait die my way into using both skills, unfortunately. So let's pilot.
Okay.
And we're flying the big ship because you're moving the big ship around. I think.
I'm sorry. That's the wrong way to GM this. The best way to do it is you could set yourself up with a good perception roll, right? Give yourself advantage.
Yeah, but before we dive into that thing, I'm trying to figure out the.
What do you say? What does it look like? What does Chuck gets into the zone look like?
Sure. So he normally has his pocket watch hanging up over the dash, and it's like the one thing that's unsecured in the front of the ship. Everything else is super locked down. And so before he goes in, he pulls that off and locks it into his pocket. And he does this big semicircle over the cloud, and he's just watching it. And he yells at everybody some kind of weird protocol. Like what was Plark's protocol for, everything's going down?
I think it was like Apache banana, but we changed it to alpaca banana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's something else like that. So if we have somebody sweet in Twitch chat that has a great idea, I'll take it. It's probably from way back when he and Hush were doing maneuvers, and he just can't get out of that habit.
Sure.
And so he's just watching the vortex and looking for a moment where it just seems like it clears just a little.
Yeah.
And then he's just falling like a rock. And then I will roll alertness to how much horrible threat.
Probably. Let's just say that's the same difficulty because this is a piloting 5 test, so it's probably perception 5. Considering now that I'm not doing it, it's like this is the one skill to do it all. I'll just say it's a 5.
Ambitious. I'll take it. Hey,
get your charge back. Yeah. And
that charge.
Yeah, you have advantage.
All right, and I am totally using ship charge. Launch charge. I guess it's not charge. Launch doesn't have charge, so I guess I use the ship charge for the launch. That is.
I think so. The launch is part of the ship, isn't it not?
Yeah, I
guess in the same way that you could with like any of the med bays or other modules or things, right?
I just know it's bigger than my tool, so it has to be using something that's not my tool's charge. So I'm going to do that. And the launch I did outfit with 2 atmospheric thrusters. So that's the extra dice I'm going to be taking, which gives me 6 dice on pilot plus 1. So 6 dice total. So that's 1 advantage, 2 advantage for the ship, and 1 extra advantage die for my alertness roll. Is that what's up, Eric?
Yeah. You got it.
And then 5 threat?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going down, buds.
You were doing so great.
Let's do it.
You had it. You were in the zone. You're like, it's one of those things where you're like, I got it, I'm doing it, and then out of nowhere, boom, as a big huge rock hits the side of your ship. Your shields are up and stuff like that, so it doesn't like damage and crunch the ship, but it sends you into a spin, right? As you're free falling, and now you're like not dodging rocks as you're falling, and so it just sounds like hail at the underhull of your ship as you're falling.
Someone cue Sugar. We're going down swinging, please.
Yeah. So, it's not great.
But like
at
a
all.
MIDI version of it, so copyright and also space noises.
And I think in terms of the scope of the damage here, this is probably the same as getting hit with like. It's more than like a single torpedo, but it's probably not like a nuclear blast. So like I think this is probably about 4 damage to the ship. How do you want to take it? This is kinetic.
I mean, our ship shields should be able to handle most of it.
Can shield stop or ablate kinetic?
They have at least some kinetic.
We have a kinetic deflector.
Oh, good. Okay, never mind. That I don't have the ship thing open, so that's good to know.
But it's a die roll. Like the kinetic deflector is a mod.
Okay.
So
Well,
I don't exactly know.
I mean, I think you guys take the. Well, I think what happens is the failure of this roll is that you take the damage, you take the 4 damage here, but now your guys are plummeting down, getting hit with more rocks, and now you're going to need to turn on your deflectors and basically salvage the situation, right? I think it's probably fair to say that you're in a spin, so I'll give you the options here of you can try to resolve this all in one roll now at disadvantage, right? Like get a -1 die here, or you can try to like recover the ship and then get out of here and basically break down the scope of your task into multiple concurrent rolls.
Well,
Right.
well, hold on. So if the
How do you see this?
if the launch is taking damage, then we have to pull it from somewhere. Are we talking resilience, integrity? I guess we're resilience.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have because it doesn't have armor.
It does not have any armor
Yeah.
because of
Oh,
course.
so it has disadvantage anyways. Then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's already got disadvantage.
Right. Never mind. So then just this roll would have disadvantage from the threat. Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice. Playing the game as written.
Would you all want me to try and get the shields like up while this is happening, like the kinetic shields up, and then you try and get us out, or what's
Yeah,
the...
totally. You could totally try to like
Yeah.
do that while this is happening.
Yeah,
I think
I'm gonna
like this
try
is
and-
concurrent, but it's kind of like I think whatever Adam does, their next roll would be reliant on this.
I'm
what is-
going to
Yeah.
mid-spin try
Sure.
and get the shields online.
Right, because like you all see this is happening. The ship does that sort of like loud groan, like as the rotational force picks up. As you begin to dive uncontrolled. Plark, any words of wisdom to your crew?
That's
Okay.
about the limit of his thought process at this point. Doesn't do
Thank
well under
you,
pressure.
Commander Clark. What's the threat
What do you
level?
mean the middle manager doesn't do well in high pressure, quick
No.
decision situations?
Especially office manager.
What's
Are you
the...
in your like security?
This is hard. This is like 4.
Okay.
think.
Let's see.
Yeah, or like ship shield stuff. So
Do we
yeah.
have any...
basically, like I'm kind of seeing this as kind of like shock, and you're trying to like do this quickly.
Let me check to see if the launch has anything that I can call upon to help.
Mhm.
Does it?
Just that
sure.
kinetic deflector. So the thrusters are for maneuvering around, the deflector for the shields.
Sure.
The hollow protector to kind of cloak us on the ground. Those are
I would like to use those kinetic deflectors. How much?
and this Christoph notes is from your pan.
Yeah. Cool. How much dice do we get from that kinetic deflector using?
Just
it?
one.
Just one. Where did? Oh no, that closed for some reason. That's unfortunate. I will regather that die pool. So shield mechanics. Advantage 1. Threat 4.
Hey,
as soon as I start
success!
Doing ship things. As soon as I start doing
Yeah.
ship things.
All right. Yeah. So I think you. What is it? No, I don't want to do that. You tell me. You succeeded here. What does this look like?
I mean, so I think like the ship is spinning out, and like
Yeah.
freaking she's like strapped into the chair in front of like where you do like astronavigation and shield mechanics and stuff, and is just like typing a bunch of numbers, and it's just like there's like an internal like monologue sort of deal where it's just like she might not be able to do anything else at the moment, but damn if she's gonna die on one of her own fucking ships.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Boom.
she's so
Yeah.
it's just getting through every situation off of pure spite.
Right. And so then we see like the shield turn on like at the last possible second, obliterating a rock. As you guys continue to pummel. I was saying, guys, I'm sorry. Y'all are you pummeled down. It's cool. Pilot, we still need you to stabilize your free fall, but at least now you have a shields that are buffeting you from some of the rocks, but it's not an easy flight here. Right.
I mean,
this could be a difficulty. Well, you still have disadvantage here, so it's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because this volcano is exploding so ferociously from several other failures ago, this is why it's very, very difficult. Rather than just being smoke like a normal volcano, this is an active eruption now.
Cool. Well, I'm going to use another charge. Keep myself just completely tapped into the launch's thrusters.
Yeah.
And
oh, and needless to say, you've lost the signal to the SOS.
yeah,
right, for the time being.
not
But like,
particularly
we're not
worried.
particularly worried about that right now. Otherwise, right, the first rule of safety of rescuing somebody is making sure you don't need rescued too.
Put the mask over your own face, and then put the mask over.
Look at that. Nerves of
Bam.
steel. Chuck, what does this look like? How do you regain composure of the ship?
So as soon as the shields come on, he aims at the crowded part down, because that's where you go. How do you weave through a crowd? Is you go towards the place where it's the most crowded, because it'll open up by the time you get there. And it's just like 3 near misses and 1 that just gets pushed just barely away by the shields, and then it clears up. And you're below the smoke layer.
Oh, that is so awesome. That was Clark's inspiring wisdom.
Yeah. Clark just, well done. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you get underneath the cover. You can see the enormity of the erupting volcano right now. The lava pouring down. The lava is also once again sort of colored differently than as the smoke has also purple in it. The lava also has some sort of like purple like clumps into it. You know where lava could be like red and also bright molten white and yellow. It is like molten violet, like a weird retro 80s. Like, you know, like that glowy violet, like very ultraviolet almost, right? In terms of like, to give you an idea. Yeah, you stabilize the ship. You can see the volcano, but you're ostensibly lost from your signals. You need to recalibrate everything, right? Because that all just, you know what I mean?
Are we stable, Chuck?
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we're going to be for at least a few more minutes, get me a signal I can go towards so we can get undercover.
Hey,
Make it double.
2 signals. Gotcha. And I'm gonna once
Yeah,
again.
and this is going to be a sensor roll. This is probably a 4 because you're looking for the SOS signal. And,
Honestly, Clark was vague, so really whatever
Yeah.
Ray
Oh.
wants to look
Yeah,
for
as,
at that
as
point.
far as Ray and Chuck are concerned, we're since it was vague enough,
Yeah.
I think we're both
Yeah.
okay. Let's go to the fun place.
would it
Yeah,
help?
yeah.
Right. By the way, just as from a GMing perspective for y'all, would it be better for me to say the difficulty plus the disadvantage already, or would you rather me say the difficulty and then say plus disadvantage? Like, so this is a 3 plus disadvantage, or would you rather me just say it's 4?
Just like we should use the mechanics that are being used.
Well, it's the
so-
same. I'm just describing 3 plus 1 or 4.
Sure. Let's. I guess.
What's
in
more
that
The
clear?
case-
addition, just so people who may be watching this
Yeah.
later can figure out
Yeah,
how you
who's
got
playing
to
this
that.
at home?
Yeah.
number.
Going through their own volcanoes. Sure.
So do like it's 3 plus 1, so 4.
Right.
Because yeah.
Sure.
Why
I'll
not
do that.
both?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, 3 plus 1
Right.
because your ship is still damaged. There's probably some sparks, like Star Trek style, from the panels kind of thing, right?
Sure. So perception
Frazzled.
survey. I'm burning another charge for depth analyzer.
That
So I
sounds
wanna
great.
I want to get that deep info.
Yeah. Right, take it away.
All right. Survey. Image 2. And then is the threat 4 then? 7?
Yes, it's 4.
I'm not great. Got a 0. Got what are the zeros again?
I need a signal, Ray. Where's my signal?
Yeah. It's not great. You guys aren't exposed to harm, but yeah, I don't think you're unable to get the signals. They seem to be lost.
Yeah. I
Um,
think Ray says, it's not on the monitors anymore.
yeah. You worked so hard to get the monitors working again, to get the sensors online. I'm sure that part of the debris really jostled them around.
Mm-hmm.
But then yeah, you do the full scan. They're not there.
The signals must have been ceased. Do we have an idea of their rough location before we lost the signal?
That would be a different role, right? Because now you have to reverse triangulate research.
Can I
You know what I mean? You
analyze-
just spun around and free fell for a couple seconds, which doesn't necessarily. It's not great for
Can I
reminding where you are.
re-triangulate where we are versus where it was and analyze the data?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone can help you if you need it, or is that something you're
I
good
would
at? I don't
like-
have your sheet open. Yeah. But yeah, that's totally
Anyone
something
can
you could
think
do.
of a way.
Right. You're certainly down, but not out. Yeah,
I'm
that would be another.
always-
That's a good option.
For help. So I don't know what a range compensator just means. You can search further for things, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Can I use that would work? Area effects just to get where we are now and sort of reposition us planet side in part of my analysis scan, or is it all going to be data side and I can't use that?
It could be both. It could be or either, not both.
All right.
I'm cool with whether it's for you. I don't know. What does it look like? What Ray's doing, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
obviously maybe that might be a chicken and egg problem, but I'm cool with whatever. So what does
I
it
think
look
she-
like?
Sorry, I think they
Sorry.
bring up they don't have the big gaming table anymore, which is maybe sometimes they wired it into the computers when they shouldn't have. So they bring up a small display of the ground layout, and it's all kind of fuzzy, like that old style video game. And then they're trying to reorganize the sensors, get landmarks that they've had, triangulate where the deepest part of the volcano was, and sort of maybe they scanned the ocean floor when nobody else cared about it because they're from the ocean or an ocean. Yeah, so they're trying to build an artificial map and put where they were when they scanned and where they are now, and work the data from there, and then from their new position where it would be or where it might be.
I love it. That's awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Science the shit out of this.
All right. I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna do very well.
Well, I mean, you say that.
Eric.
Hey, I'm not
Appreciate you
Plark.
as a
I'm not.
person, and
I'm
I
not
really
Plark.
playing in your games. Thank
Yeah.
you for being a friend.
Hey.
And suck it.
Hey. See, for those who don't know this, roll 20 dice rolls are fueled by spite.
Yeah. That's why I roll so
That's
bad.
why I was
don't
helping
have
those-
any spite.
Yeah, that's why I was helping you.
Why-
I just needed to get you some spite.
It's like
Just
human.
be very careful that you don't advance your spite too far.
Sure.
I'll take a trauma.
It's why typically Hush does so well. It just
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah. That was the first thing we decided about Earthlings.
it was actually the first thing.
Right.
Like,
So you, right. So you're able to triangulate the SOS signal because that's what you were ordered to follow. So that means that was the one you had data for to analyze, right? That seems pretty logical,
It all comes back.
right? If
Well, technically, I had data points for both things, and I
Right.
failed my scan to get more information. so I could have a vague area of both things. In case you want to meet.
Mm,
It's up to you.
yeah, but Plark set the course for the SOS signal, and that's the way. That was the directory going. Oh, that's true. I guess you could theoretically.
Yeah, and Chuck did say earlier
That would have been
vague enough.
Right. So with a success, what I would say is that you have a path to the SOS signal, and then you have an easy another analysis. Basically, subtract a couple extra variables here, and you could get to the other signal roughly where you think it is. Right. That's on the table.
What Ray says is, I've got 2 signals again, getting more data, as they furiously type on their thing before anyone tells them to stop.
Clark totally sees Ray's little heartbeat go. Doesn't say anything.
Like their shell changes a little bit of color. It's not they're as good at me as being fine. Okay. Would that just be another depth analysis, or just like a regular survey scan now that I have the information?
Survey.
Make sure
I think.
doing right. Okay. Regular survey. 4. We're gonna do it. No advantage. 4 threat.
Yeah.
No. That's
It's a really bad roll. So I get complication dice for this one, for sure.
sorry, friends.
That's,
Each miss above a consequence of -3 gives me a die. Okay.
I forgot to have spite. I forgot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the answer right now is with that, I think your sensor array gives out. Right? You got it was already broken. Oh, you know what happens?
I
It literally
tried to
flies off the
overcharge it.
shuttle. like
Like these readings are very. Oh no.
Oh, that's because that's over there. It's like you look at the port window, you like the beep 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 as it's flying. Yeah. It fell off.
Damn it.
But we've got the map, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
reverse engineered the map.
Yeah.
So we know what the SOS is.
Right. The last thing saved is like the your analysis, right? Your success.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing that's just stuck on the screen, right? Because everything else is being like no data. Okay.
I think Chuck's going to look for a cave to get in,
Mhm.
which is planetology, according to my skills list. The knowledge of probable caves. And since we don't have an actual sensor on the ship, it's
Gonna have to perceive.
It's going to be a totally fine time.
Your brain sensors.
Well, geoscience is planetology. Like Chuck is really interested in planet formation, and so he knows weird things about where caves are, like where you might want to hide your ship when you're
Right.
running away from a huge military force.
While this, yeah, I would give you this as well. While this appears to be an island, and it's within a artificial containment place, the process for creating this place follows like as far as you could tell, it follows a sort of a natural organic pattern. So that totally could work. It's not like this place would be deliberately confusing to you, is what I'm trying to say, or something like that. So yeah, go ahead.
Give me a threat and tell me how bad this is going to be.
I think the threat here is 3, and the consequence is that you probably will find one, but you might not like where it is or how to get there, right?
Yeah.
Like
If
there's
you
an
tell
air
us
pocket
they're
where you have to
in
go
the
through the
volcano,
ocean.
we're not going after them.
Yeah.
Bam.
Look at that. That's 2 successes. That's a good roll.
I'll
Excellent.
take it.
Yeah, no problem. All right. I think it's one of those things where I think there's a stroke of luck, or maybe there's like a wind change or something like that, and through the smoke, you're like, the cave should be here, right? And it's like, It goes on. It's a nice cove with the water underneath. It's all steamy and stuff because there's lava probably pouring down near it and stuff. So it's all like hot and steamy, but it's fine.
Is it super cinematic, like Fury Road style? Like it's really pulled back, but like high def clouds.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. There's a lot of far shots in this part. Or no, it's actually that Battlestar Galactica cam that like it's just far and it like zooms in and it's shaky or whatever as you're just going through and it goes back. You know what I'm talking about? Everyone know what I'm talking about? That camera?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's the camera you use when you're showing you're scanning from a ship.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So you're able to you totally spot this cavern. It's big enough to fly the shuttle in. Do you? Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to land
Yeah,
like
that's
outside of it? Or?
No, the whole point is get out from under the falling volcanic debris before we lose more pieces of our ship.
Yeah. So the cavern is entirely artificial. Once you're inside, you can see the bits of like scaffolding and machinery. Once again, it's all in like, imagine pristine, a lot of hexagonal shapes in terms of its sort of design, almost kind of like beehive-y in terms of its pattern making and mosaic style. That's kind of how I've been picturing the Carcerone's tech. It's sort of this faded hexagonal pattern.
Would Plark or Ray know anything from our time in the war? Kind of like, I don't want to say from like just fictional positioning necessarily, but just this is something that we would have recognized from our like research days or our archivist days.
Like sometimes people destroyed a planet or terraformed it wrong,
Right.
and there were more volcano activity, or like they built a planet wrong, or
I mean, you haven't seen a facility like this. You've never been to a hollowed place like this. Not saying this doesn't exist. Like technology is available. It's just it's a lot to do.
Okay.
So in terms of military records, yeah, that could help you. Like I think these things are I think there's a theoretical applicable knowledge here of this.
Okay, yeah, Plark would he wouldn't necessarily communicate anything, but he might pull up some stuff on his pan or on his like browser, just looking through his old records, and probably like share it with his internal little Slack channel with Ray. Just pulling up like, does this look familiar? Does this look familiar? These kind of things like that.
yeah, and they're like, no. I don't know.
So Plark is lost sort of in quiet contemplation while he's leaning over Chuck's shoulder, watching us land, probably.
Yeah. As you guys soar into the cave, the natural formation gives way to the artificial formations, and that's when you arrive at a huge think of like I like to think of this as almost like a submarine bay in terms of like its structure and sort of like the gate, like the padlock kind of, or paddock. What is it? The like the water level kind of like gate seal thing, like it goes up. It has like been struck in half by like some falling rocks and stuff like that. So there's like this huge like rift in the middle that you guys could soar through. But otherwise, this is like a tremendous huge gate under this island here.
I think I'd rather land outside the gate.
Okay.
If it's artificial on the ground, at least.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd have to go. Is the gate on the outside of the cave?
Well, I think. Yeah, no, it's inside. It's like
Okay,
hood, like
right.
awning inside is like this blast door kind of situation, right? And that door is what I'm calling is fissured. It's actually been like cracked in half. It looks like it was literally fissured in half, like down the middle, and like part of it's like broken down. So there's a lot of like rubble. This tremendously sized like containment door would be really good. Like there's probably like something flat enough that you wanted to take the shuttle down here. It would be great. Above you, it's rumbling. It's hot down here, but this definitely looks like a facility. Like past that door, you can kind of like the light of a shuttle, like the one like flickering light that you have left or whatever. Like you can kind of like see inside of it and like see like, oh yeah, like you see like a zigzagging, like staircases and all that kind of stuff all over the place. So like this place looks like it's a research facility of some kind, or a facility of some kind.
So big plan here is get down on ground that is artificial and hopefully does not have vines growing out of it.
Yeah.
Get
There's no
down
vines.
as pretty much as soon as possible so that we're
Yeah.
not flying around a ship that we haven't been able to look at. And then take a big, hard, long look at the outside of the ship and figure out how much of a problem we have there before we go into another problem that we don't know anything about yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think we're gonna call it there tonight, as we see the ship landing in front of these gates. Nice work, everybody. Yeah. So I know we're wrapping up a little bit early, but I think that's okay.
To the planet.
We made you made it to the planet.
We didn't die somehow.
You didn't. You
didn't
didn't
die.
die. You didn't die. Your rolls were completely against you today. The dice have betrayed you.
Very bad.
Until it came to damage and stuff, and all of a sudden you were pulling out successes, where it really mattered. So that was cool. Good work. Good use of charge. I think when we fail, you guys really got into the. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I felt like you got more into the spirit of like, what can I do to get an advantage in this situation? Like it really felt more like that burning wheel sense of like, oh, what do I do to spend my trait? Like, how do I get more dice right now? Like, what can I do to improve that situation? Which I always find fun. So that
Finally figuring out
yeah.
charge before
Yeah.
I rolled out, which is always a problem I have in Blades games too. So
yeah, right. So that I thought that went really well. So let's go around the horn and do some outros. Top left, Hacker Blinks, Adam.
Hey, I'm just writing about my college course load in caves and planetology in the Twitch chat, which is excellent and absolutely fake. The best kind of college courses. Yeah, and stuff like that. Go ahead, Alice.
Hi, I'm Alice, also known as Tafcat around the interwebs. You can find me on Twitter or Patreon and under TAFKAT. I just released also Twitch. I just released a new update for Kiss Her Before the World Ends, which is a game I'm working on Patreon. So if you want to check that out, that's the place to do it. That's all for me though.
again, Gina Dazer. You can find me at Dazer on Twitter or Gina _Dazer on Patreon. I'm finishing up halfway through my first week of daily updates, and tomorrow is releasing Meaty Bones, the official rule set so far in alpha. Yeah, so it's stressful, but it's exciting. And also twitch.tv/panda. I stream almost every day at midnight Pacific because I don't know what time is. So yeah.
Who does?
Time's a fake construct anyway. Let's be real. Ben Dutter, you can find me on the internet. Google's Sigilstone Publishing. Check it out.
Yeah, cool. And I'm Eric, everybody. I'm EricVulgaris. Thanks again for Christoph for letting me get these rules, and thank you, crew, for playing this game with me. I really couldn't ask for a better crew. You guys are really, 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 really sweet. And I mean that in the endearing way. You all are very nice. So okay. So with that, I think we're gonna wrap up today. I'll be back next Thursday, for more Spacer that is free. So we'll see what's in underneath this exploding cave next time.
Go back on Kickstarter.
Yeah, go back it on Kickstarter right now. I'll do Free Spacer one more time. That's not how you spell Free Spacer. There we go. Awesome. There we go, everybody. All right, thank you so much. We're out of here. See you next week. Same Free Spacer time, same Free Spacer place. Take care. Bye.
Bye, all.